Good morning. Good morning. It's streaming live. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful morning. Hey.
It
Is it?
is.
I haven't been out yet, to be honest.
Oh,
Is it nice
it's
out?
it's stinking hot.
Oh,
And yes, I've already been for a walk. And yes,
wonderful.
had a hot tub with my husband this morning.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Been productive.
Oh, wow. Overeating.
Excellent. Share. Did you share it to my page already, Wendy?
no.
She is such a good virtual assistant. She has a calling amongst many, many, many other things. Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
Except for, yeah, I can't. Anyways, okay. Sorry. Got too many things going on. Okay. There we go. That's what I wanted.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. So we have been chatting sort of all morning, and we did that move? Oh, I shared to my timeline twice. Shucks. We've been chatting all morning, honestly, about chaos and about just how I know that my world has just been crazy, and I've been crazy and spiraling, and like it's just like trying to get our feet together and launch what's on our programs and stay consistent with that, and then manage family life, manage adult children, manage finances, unruly gardens, crazy animals, and two homes, right?
And Facebook posts.
And Facebook posts, and then even just managing groceries for two places, cottage and home, right?
And being major chief and cook and everything to everybody else around you. The expectation of that.
Sometimes, but it's been interesting. And then Darlene piped in and she said, well, it's been messy. And then I had another friend pipe in about, it's, what did she say? Capricorn and the blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
What did she say here?
I don't know. I haven't got it.
Some astrology thing.
Some astrology stuff, because that's what she does. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, she asked how I was doing. So I'm like, it's been a crazy couple of days, that's for sure. And then she said, yes, because it's been the full moon, and 3 days after that flows crazy, and it was an eclipse on top of it, so you can expect the unexpected. And then she said, you may find yourself agitated and sleepy and chaotic and irritable and tired. And I'm like, check, check, check. And same with my husband and my kids and Wendy and everybody around me. I'm just kidding, Wendy.
I don't know what it is right now. I don't know if anybody else out there is feeling this way too right now. Just give us some sort of indication, because
it's just us three.
I don't want it to be just us. This is crazy.
Yeah. And then she goes on to say, not only was it an eclipse with the Capricorn energy lining up with the three other planets, and I don't know any of this stuff, so I'm like, okay, but best was not to look at the full moon and meditate, and because it was so much stuff going on. And then she finishes by saying, food that has been left in the fridge, leftovers, are not good to eat after an eclipse. And I laughed because James' stomach all last few days have just not been right every time he eats something. So I'm like, okay, no more leftovers for James. But I thought that was hilarious and so fitting, right? And then you had said something about you in the same place, Darlene, right? And you've had a couple of days off.
I had 2 days off. And Wednesday mornings I teach a meditation class for the university. And so Wednesday mornings is that class. Tuesday nights is always reflection, right? It's like, what are we, what's coming up? What needs to be addressed tomorrow? How can I serve? And so Tuesday is always really reflective. And sometimes it's like, oh God, I am so not enlightened right now. But what I've learned over the years is usually what I'm what I'm experiencing, somebody else is experiencing it. And same in a classroom setting, ask the question because somebody else has the same question. And so I figured I am likely not the only person experiencing some form of this chaos. And so I took a really deep look at it. And what I was recognizing is a few things, and I called it a fear soup, or like a fear storm. And a lot of times I end up in the eye of the storm, in the calm, and the storm just kind of circles around me. And what I was feeling yesterday and a few days prior was actually in the whipping zone of the storm.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry guys, the garbage truck's going to go by.
That's okay.
So a couple things I was recognizing is ancestral stuff, family history. The whole reason why my family came to Canada was because of war and poverty and persecution and violence. And so we came here to be safe and to have rights and liberties. And so I got, I'm getting the end of it, the civil liberty end of things. And so this comes back to your question, Dana, that you haven't asked yet, but about what's the essence, right? And who am I? Because I am not my family. I am not my ancestry. I'm not that history. It's a part of how I am here and how I operate in the world, but I don't have to continue to heal the wounds of the past. I don't have to live for them because of what they went through. I get to because of what their choices were. So I started to do a lot of healing, and that's what our meditation was bringing the ancestors in, bringing the history in, whether it was that your ancestors went through the plague and have a real fear for their wellness and the health of their bodies, or if it was a persecution thing or a safety thing. Bring the ancestors in and help them let go of that, and help that not be a dominant thing that we're still having to repeat the cycle of coming to terms with that. And it's like you got to look at it over and over and over again, and history keeps repeating. So so that meditation was really profound for me anyways, and really helped to shift some things and help me get back to me, my essence, my purpose. And my prayer became like, let peace be more prevalent. Let it be the most prevalent energy that I'm experiencing right now, and let me move towards that. And that's been really big.
Oh.
Really, really big. And also asking, like, let me be willing to let go of this.
Yeah.
And not to be right or have to be heard. That stuff, really surrendering to, I would like a different experience now.
Well, yeah. And I think even in my prayer time, it's been, okay, God, what are you upheaving? And I probably asked for that. I probably did ask for bring forth the things in my life that I need to clear, bring forth bring forth the things in my life that I need to pray about and ask forgiveness for, or, and give forgiveness too, as well. And
Yes.
I always, and then I found my ring again today, my little ring that I had bought after, anyways, trying time, and it's the ask, knock, and seek, right? And it's funny, I found it again today, and then it, of course, now it all comes to, it's like, okay, Dana, you really need to be careful what you ask for again. And that's a sort of a learning lesson in my life, is that, I have asked for what do I need to clear, what do I need forgiveness for, and what do I need to work about in my own life to get rid of things. And I asked God to that I'm a willing vessel. And yeah, I asked for the shit show, and I need to just be okay with that and work through it, right? And don't be bitter about it, and just be thankful and finding thanks in all of this. Like, I have to stop saying that COVID was not very kind to me. Like, I did not go through it well. And perhaps that's a double, that's a negative aspect and talk that we should maybe stop about this situation, and then be infusing that perception. I'm sorry, there's like cat hair everywhere. Infusing that positivity in our lives, right? Yes, I am going to conquer. Yes, I am going to be successful. Yes, I am moving forward in my life. Yes, I am going to flourish in my relationships. I'm going to flourish in everything that I do. And we have to really start pulling that forward, because so much of this in life we have no control over, right? Like, Wendy, you had such a great experience on Facebook yesterday. Like, even though it was spiraling or it was crazy, but what a great experience to just air our grievances on that and just be able to appreciate and understand where people were coming from.
Yeah, it was an experience for sure. I unfortunately let it get to me. I don't know. I have a tendency to pick up on other people's energies quite easily, and it just there wasn't any negativity. There was very much adult conversation from
Which is
some extremely powerful, wonderful, intelligent people, and it was just, I don't know, it wasn't the conversation itself that was making me spiral, but it was the realization of everything that's going on right now. I'm almost afraid to leave the house, to be honest with you, you know, because the aggression and the pain and the hurt and everything that's going on right now outside of the house is scaring me, to be honest.
And I think, and that's okay. And it's the expression and revelation and coming to terms with it, right? Which so many people are in the same situation. So many people are in the same situation, right? Like, and wearing a mask, not wearing a mask is, and then everyone has their opinion. And then even today, a very dear friend sent me some biblical passages about it, right? And because they started talking about it, and I don't talk about it. I try not to talk about it because it's just, who knows, right? No one really knows. But it's understanding things from love your neighbor as you love yourself. So it's respecting others, and it's honoring where they're at. But don't, this fear that you're feeling is going to be amazing for you to walk through, right? Like, it's so amazing to bring up all these things. And doesn't feel like that. Yes,
I don't
Darlene?
know. I don't know. It's hard to say. There was another post this morning that a friend of ours, Dawn Larson, posted about a home hardware indication that, you know, their staff is working very diligently, and please notice that any aggression towards our staff, any anger, any of this, whatever, is going to be, you know, very severely dealt with. You're going to have to leave the store and everything else. And this is a common sign. I've seen it. I've worked in a place, people were bringing up the fact that, you know, it's crazy this day and age that this kind of sign has to be put up and to remind us to be kind to people. And then they're saying that, oh yeah, we see this sign everywhere now. But I mean, this sign specifically has been in the nursing home for years. And the abuse and the anger and the negativity that comes through with people. And it's not necessarily even just the people, because I understand where their negativity is coming from. This is how I've been able to deal with it for years and years and years. But it's the fact that we actually have to remind people to be kind. And it just, I don't know.
Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Yeah.
Especially
Very
at a time
unfortunate.
when we're all kind of like at that edge where we're just about ready to either crumble or explode, you know? So I don't know. It's
What I'm noticing, well, a few things. I think the people who are acting out are people who don't feel heard. Um, Facebook is a place to share how you feel,
Mm-hmm.
but um, it's not a safe space. It's not a safe space where you can have your experience,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not counseling,
No.
right? It's not your coach, it's not your therapist, it's not your pastor or a loving friend. And I think a lot of us don't feel heard, and that's what I was noticing too. Is I needed to acknowledge what I was experiencing and have that be okay. Because my closest friends are experiencing something entirely different. And it's not whose fear is more right, is what was happening. Well, I have a fear of this. Well, my fear is this. And our fears conflict with one another, right? Your fear says wear a mask. My fear says don't wear a mask. Well, where does that get us? It's not useful, right?
Right.
So that's how I feel about angry people and people who are acting out, because I have actually heard stories, um, and so I think that's something we need to be more considerate about. Is that we're in a soup. We all have our different flavor of fear that's going on, and having that be okay, that your fear is different from my fear, and no fear is better than the other or more right. But the other thing I was thinking of is, if I want to renovate my house and I want an open plan kitchen where the kitchen, dining room, and living room flow together, I have to actually knock out a wall. And I would have to rip out my cabinets. I would want to change windows. I would want to change the flooring. And I got to create a big old mess with dust and garbage and God knows what's under those floorboards, or like under my, ancient flooring. And I think for me anyways, for my sake of sanity, I have to assume that this is a renovation,
Mm-hmm.
and that this is the prayer we've been asking for, right? That this is the transformation and transition we've been asking and praying and hoping and longing for.
Mm-hmm.
um, and I've also been thinking in terms of, like, this is the alchemist's fire. This is alchemy.
Yeah.
And it
What,
sucks. It's
what we would
uncomfortable.
what we would call the refiner's fire, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
and that's exactly, it is going to bring forth some nasty to get through to what is pure and good and wholesome, and what you are all in your purpose and your greatness and what you're meant to be. Yeah.
So last night I went to bed, and the question I had come to me was, like, what? Okay, so this ask and receive business works.
It does.
Sometimes
You
too
have to
It
be
much.
careful.
works.
You have to be careful, folks.
We wanted
So
change. This is
Yep.
change.
yeah.
Yep.
And I know in my life how powerful ask and receive has been. And so my question last night was like, okay, what else can I ask for? What haven't I been asking for? What ask has seemed too big? Um, so I'm just sitting with it. So last night it was like, I could be asking for more fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We ask for things for our business and for our relationships and for our finances and things like that, and for our world. But have I been asking for more fun? Or I don't know, just something that lights me up, something that's going to make my life bigger. What could I ask for that would make my life so rich and joyful and meaningful? Or, like, where I get up in the morning and I'm just like, I can't wait to get going. Or where I don't need to do crunches because I laugh so much.
That's a really good point, because I know even with myself going through all this, I haven't really just stopped long enough I have stopped long enough to kind of like step out of it and see my reaction, why I'm reacting this way and trying to analyze. I'm very, very analytical when it comes to my own shit. But I wasn't getting anywhere with that. So
Yeah.
just asking, like you said, just asking some clarity, maybe or even just something beyond that whole situation or whatever you're going through, that fear soup. Just ask something totally different.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
like, can I have a fresh meal, please, and not have to eat these leftovers anymore? Metaphorically,
yeah,
that's what we're doing, is we're eating leftovers.
Yeah.
And there comes a time when those leftovers are like not nourishing anymore.
yeah.
Things can get pretty funky in that old fridge.
Things can get very funky in the fridge.
That's the quote of the day.
Yeah.
Things that are left over. I mean, and that can be that whole theme of trying to let go of the past. And because I know with me, I understand that what is happening is this trigger and going back to things in the past that have, thrown me off kilter, and I'm falling back into that. And that's the past. That's my stuff that I got to leave in the fridge and let go of and bring into something, get a new meal. Basically, that metaphorically meal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very it's hard. And it's always nice to have people around you, and as a group or support system to have when things are getting this way. I know, it could be hormones, it could be the moon, it could be whatever that's going on around us, that energy that's just off kilter right now. It could be just about anything, but it's always important one way or another to find that community, that support system that you need to reach out to say, hey guys, I just need some help right now.
Yeah. And I mean, you can't renovate your house, you can't cook a meal, you can't make beautiful artwork without making a big mess.
Yeah.
Right? And nobody's wrong or bad or failing because they're experiencing intensity. Right? And we don't have to rush through it.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit with that chaos until you go, okay, I'm done with it. Done. Time to put this room back together. Right? And then you can make choices and you can ask questions and move from there. But the meal's not cooked until it's cooked, right?
Absolutely.
So it's okay to go through that process. It's okay to not be ready to move on yet, to look at it some more and sit with it some more.
Be crazy more. I don't like
be
that
crazy
feeling.
some more.
I don't like being off kilter. I guess that's the control freak in me. I don't like being shifted sideways. That's not me.
Not comfortable.
It's not comfortable, but like you said, you need to get to that spot to get to where you want to go, I guess.
I think so. Absolutely. Like, how are we supposed to grow? How are we supposed to become better in ourselves?
Am I going to get
right?
my groceries done?
How are you going to get your groceries done? Well, you can
online.
Yeah, you don't have to go in the store. Just order them online.
Yep.
Go to.
Don't give me options, guys.
You are out where you live. You have a lot of farmers. So go and pick up your vegetables from the farmers who don't have the farmers markets.
Yeah.
And Thursday we have a farmers market in town.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's people there too.
There's people, but you're not. But you're not indoors, right?
Yeah.
You could. Yep. Don't be. Yeah. You'll figure it out.
Oh, I will. I know it's.
Yeah. And I mean, I could enable you. Like, I'm a good enabler. Like,
you can do my groceries for me.
I could do your groceries for you. Yes.
All right, I'll send you a list. Yeah.
It's a whole new business waiting to happen. People who will do your groceries for you now.
Yeah, there's lots. Like, I'll
Yeah,
do it.
opportunity knocks.
That's not going to help me though. Really. No, yeah, it's just this soup that we're sitting in, like you said, Darlene. It's this, this fear soup, I guess. And for people that do suffer from any kind of PTSD or anxiety or anything like this, it's just going to make it even worse, I think, for a lot of people. And I think the one thing that I do have to do is get out of the house. I've been kind of like all day. It was really an odd thing because all day yesterday I was getting excited at the end of the day because my husband was coming home. He was working, and I was talking to the dogs and I was saying, okay, kids, it's okay because daddy's coming home and then he's on holidays and we're going to have him, for the next 2 weeks and everything else and, playing around. And he gets home, he's like, yeah, I'm working tomorrow. I'm like, what? He says, I have to work 4 days in a row at least. I'm like, no, today's the day that you're off. And I just fell back into my soup and I was just like, oh, realizing how much I'm putting my expectations of happiness and whatever on external things, and it was a bit of awakening to it. I don't know. And then I thought for sure it was my hormones because I kept asking him, well, are you working tomorrow? I couldn't remember because my brain is all just like, whoa, it's that soup right now, not working properly. But yeah, it was, I know it's something I'll get past, but it's a really a weird sensation. And like you said, that uncomfortableness that we all have to maybe go through to get to the other side. So.
Yeah. We're here for you, Wendy.
Yeah. I need all the help I can get right now. So yeah, I'll get out and I'll do things. I mean, that's what I do. I carry on, life is good, life is bad. You just carry on and that's what you have to do. And I'll just put a smile on my face and nobody will see it under my mask. And
oh, this is a good mechanism to cope with this.
Yeah.
Just fake it till I make it.
Yeah, pretty much for some things. Yeah. And I get home and I'll have a drink of wine. But yeah, it's, I have to put that big invisible bubble around myself too, I think. But I don't know. It's, if I'm going through this, I know other people are going through this too. And that's kind of the reasons why, I mean, I have you guys that I can reach out to and lean on and cry and bitch and complain and moan and everything else. But I know there's other people out there that are obviously going to be going through a lot of the same stuff too. So I'm just really kind of I'm glad Dana was like, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out our essence, trying to come back to our true selves. And with that understanding that, from my understanding, my true self is at its core just pure love. People will call that God, people will call that universe, whatever. And just trying to come back to that faith through some meditation, through some support from your friends and family, through whatever way that you can come back to your core, I think is essential. And if you don't have a support system out there, really, ask and receive. You gotta
ask
ask
and receive. Yeah, you have to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Don't be
maybe
afraid.
it's a day to take a break.
That was yesterday.
Devices, right? And go out in nature and have a walk and talk to the trees and talk to the water. And
I don't think yesterday counts, Wendy, as a day off. Because you were ruminating about the post and this stuff, and you didn't express yourself. So I think today is a great day to express yourself and go sweat and work in the garden and then take a salt bath and just get rid of everything because you were able to say it. You've said it. It's gone out. It's out. So now you have to fill in what is empty with meditation and prayer and sweating and nature and grounding and fresh air and oxygen, and then magnesium, because you're probably deficient in magnesium. Just saying. No, just kidding.
So I have to go.
Hey, you go.
But what
Sorry,
if today is a day for miracles?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I miss our Monday classes.
Yeah. Love you
Are
both.
you planning on doing another class?
I'm not sure. Give me a month or so.
Okay. Is that long? Definitely. Take the summer off. Do what you have to do.
Well, that is what I love to do, and I always feel more like myself when I'm doing that.
Yeah, just teasing.
Well, Darlene is available for hire for personal one-on-one
Right.
sessions. We all are in our respected professions and specialities. So, Darlene, you have an absolute blessed and glorious day today.
Thank
and
you.
may you just.
Thanks for inviting me to the conversation.
Oh my gosh. Well, because you eloquently put everything and put it into perspective, and we just love that about you. So
Thank you.
have a fantastic day today. Thank you so much for everyone joining us today, and we'll get those little points that we talked about in the show notes, and we'll add in Darlene's information. And you guys, again, have a beautiful, glorious day. Get your butts outside.
Bye, guys.
Bye. You're still recording.